Hello class, I welcome you all to this session. This session we are going to discuss the second part under the chapter Financial Management and Financial Planning. So we are going to look into financial decisions. So financial decision is basically three decisions. 1. Investment decision. 2. Financing decision. 3. Dividend decision. So financing decision means it is whether you want to have debt in the capital structure, equity in the capital structure, what is going to be the mix of debt and equity. So this is all about financing decision. Investing decision is nothing but the capital budgeting decision, and dividend decision is how much is going to be the retained earnings, how much is going to be the dividend that is distributed or paid out. So these are the decisions that we are going to take. It's very, very important under financial management. So first is the investment decision. So it relates to how the firm funds are invested in different assets so that they are able to earn the higher possible return for their investors. It is both long term as well as short term. So decision making criteria in capital budgeting. How do we decide if a capital investment project should be accepted or rejected? See, capital budgeting is a process of making investment decision in a capital expenditure, that is purchasing plant, purchasing land, building, machinery, all these heavy things which will actually reap benefit after a point of time, that is after in the future point of time. Okay, so making investment decisions about an expenditure, the benefit of which are expected to be received over a period of time. Say for example, 10 years down the line we are going to reap benefit from this machinery. Okay, for life long land is going to be there with you. So you have capital appreciation over the land. Okay, so you have these elements, so that is all called as investment decisions. So investment decision is classified into two. Under that, number one is going to be the long term investment decision, which is the capital budgeting decision, the management of fixed capital, allocation of funds to different projects or assets with long term implications for the business. So long term implications, so it's going to be there with your business for quite some time. It's going to be for a long period of time. Example are purchase of new assets, opening of new branch, launching a new product line, investing in investing in advanced technique of production, major expenditure on advertising campaign, and research and development. So these are all the long term, the examples of long term investment decisions. Importance of capital budgeting decision. So we had discussed the long term investing decisions. Long term investing decisions are majorly the capital budgeting decisions. So what is going to be the importance of capital budgeting decision? See, it's a long term growth. It yields return in the future. It affects the future prospects of the business. So it's going to be long term, so it's going to affect the future prospects of the business. So you need to be very careful when you are actually deciding on the capital budgeting decisions. The second one is it's going to be large amount of funds. Okay, so capital funds blocked in long term projects. So large amount of funds is going to be blocked in a project. So you need to be you it's not reversible. The idea of purchasing a land or building or machinery, it cannot be easily reversed. You cannot sell those fixed assets quickly and convert them into cash within say 1 week or within a day or so. It's going to be a little hard to actually convert those fixed assets into capital form. Okay, then the third one is risk. Present investment may or may not yield return in the future depending on the overall business environment. Okay, so it's going to be risky. Present investment may or may not yield return in the future, depends on the overall business environment. So your risk is going to be dependent on the business environment. Then fourth one is irreversible decision, except at a huge loss. See, once you have decided, you go for it, and it's not easy to actually get back out of it. Say you have invested in building, then you don't like it, or it's not suitable for your business, then it's very hard to actually sell that building and get back your your paid capital. So it's unless and until you're going to incur a loss in majority of the cases. If you're lucky, you can just get back the amount that has been spent on, especially when the economy is down. So it's an irreversible decision. Then thus it's very crucial for any business, since they affect the growth, profitability, risk of the business. You can see that a person is actually walking on a thread holding a stick, so it's like that. So it's going to be a little risky, and it's going to affect your profitability, it's going to affect your growth. So you need to be very careful when you are actually choosing the capital budgeting decision, when you're making this decision. See, one of the example of why it's so risky. See, you can see that it's a Palm Islands of Dubai. So this island was constructed, and it didn't go well. So that's the reality. People, it's highly risky to actually be there because of raising sea water level, and the ecosystem of that particular locality is being spoiled. So the project risk and threats is sinking. This island is actually sinking. The waves is 2 meter high, annual or biennial storm frequency, weak soil due to construct exposure to rising sea waters and water pollution. These are the challenges of this particular island. This is actually a residential artificially created island in Dubai, and it didn't go well. People are spent crores of money in this, but ultimately it is a failure project. The next thing is, so why I am telling this particular example is that, see, it's a capital budgeting decision. It's a big project. Crores and crores of money is gone into the ocean now. So if you're not able to get back that money, then it's going to be affecting your business quite long, right? So that's the reason I'm just portraying an example of Dubai Palm Islands. The next one, the factors affecting capital budgeting decisions. What are the factors that's going to affect the capital budgeting decisions? Number one, the rate of return of the projects. Expected returns plays an important role in selection of a project. So you have to have the appropriate rate of return of the project. The second one is cash flows. The series of cash receipts and payments over the life of an asset. The more faster cash receipts is better rather than delayed cash receipts. So cash flows should be frequent, and it should be high. So series of cash receipts and payments over the life of an investment. The more faster the cash receipts is, the better it is rather than cash delayed cash receipts. So if you invest 10,000 monthly 1,000 is better than after 5 years that's 10,000 becoming 50,000. Okay, so that's actually better. The faster you get back the money, the better it is. So that's what mean by cash flow. The third one is the investment criteria involved. So investment criteria involved, there are different techniques to evaluate investment proposals. Some of the techniques are net present value, internal rate of return, and payback period. So the factors affecting capital budgeting, we have discussed 3 points: rate of return of the project, cash flows, and investment criteria involved. Then the last one that we are going to discuss under investment decisions is number one, short term investment decision, that is working capital decision. You remember, first was long term investment decision, which are capital budgeting decision. Now it's going to be short term. Short term is nothing but working capital decisions. Affect the day to day working of a business. Essential ingredient of sound working capital management. See, what are the essential ingredients of a sound working capital management is below. One is the cash management. First, you need to manage your cash. Second is inventory management. Third is going to be receivables management. So these are all the ingredients of a sound working capital management. So short term investment decisions affecting the day to day workings of the business. So you should have these managements pakka, so that your working capital doesn't get you know affected. So if you do not have working capital, then you cannot run the office. If you cannot run the office, then it's going to be a challenge to get the revenue out of it. So that's the biggest challenge. This decision affects both liquidity and profitability of a business. Current assets are one major thing that affects the working capital decisions. What's going to be your cash? How much is it there in your bank? How much is going to be the bills receivable? How much are the debtors? All these important criteria need to be recorded, and it has to be analyzed. So that's what meant by working capital decision. So we have completed the investment decision, number one, capital budgeting decision, and number two, working capital decisions. The second major decision is going to be the financing decision. How is your capital structure be constructed? Whether you're going to have your debt capital, or whether you're going to have your equity capital, or a combination of both. It is concerned with how much funds to be raised from debt and equity. Decision relates to the quantum of finance to be raised from various long-term sources. The main source of funds, that is shareholders' funds, equity, that is and borrowed funds, debt. So the main sources of funds is going to be equity and debt. Okay, so that is all about financing decisions. What is going to be the quantum of finance that needs to be raised? Then financing decisions, you can look into the diagram, long term financing. Under that, you have equity capital, preference capital, debentures, term loans, retained earnings. So shareholders funds or equity include share capital, reserves, surplus that are retained earnings. Then borrowed funds include debentures, long term loans, and public deposits. Financing decisions, overall cost of capital, that also talks about the financial risks. Okay, so financing decision, how cost of debt and cost of equity are to be compared. Okay, so first is cost of debt. It means expected rate of return of lenders on debt capital for assuming risk. What is cost of equity? It means expected rate of return on equity capital for assuming risk. What is the cost of debt? Cost of debt is lower than the cost of equity. Cost of equity is higher than the cost of debt. The risk, the lender's risk is lower. The risk, equity shareholders risk is higher. Okay, and returns, it's a fixed interest and repayment of capital on maturity. The returns of capital, equity is going to be high, but only if there is a profit. Then debt is a deductible expenses for computation of tax liability, but dividends are paid out of after tax profit. So these are the comparisons between the cost of debt and cost of equity. So you can make out that cost of debt is cheap and cost of equity is high, but risk in terms of lender's risk, that is lender, whoever is actually lending the money, the lender's risk is low, but the company's risk is high, because if it is not able to pay interest or the principal amount, then the company get into serious issues. So cost of equity here, it's equity shareholders risk is quite high, and the returns that's been paid to debt is fixed returns, and but equity, it's not fixed, it can be high only if there is a profit. So you need to understand that debt and equity are different. How cost of debt is lower than the cost of equity, but it's risky. So you can see one person having tied his leg under debt, and he's actually the water is filling it up, and he's actually draining. So if too much of debt is actually very very risky for the concern. So debt are cheaper but risky due to the following reasons. Number one, payment of interest and principal is obligatory. Default in meeting those commitment force business to go into liquidation. That's a very serious problem. If it does not meet its commitment, then on and on and on, then it has to be liquidated, and money has to be paid to the debenture and bonds and lenders actually. So the payment of interest and principal is obligated, you have to pay that. And the third point is increases the fixed cost, as interest is the charge against the profit. See, interest is charge against the profit. When you are working out your profit and loss account, you need to write to interest payable to debenture holders, so you it's actually costly. Then fourth one is increase financial risk, it increases the financial risks. So these are all the elements that you need to keep in mind before you are actually financing your capital structure with too much of debt. The financial risk, what do you mean by financial risk? Is the chance that a firm would fail to meet its payment obligations, that is, interest and principal amount. If the concern fails to meet its payment obligations, then it is a financial risk. There are various types: market risk, operational risk, credit risk, and liquidity risk. It's just for you to know them. So financial risk is nothing but if the company or the organization is not able to make its payment obligation. That is, suppose it has to pay its rent, suppose it has to pay its salary, suppose it has to pay interest on loan. If it's not able to, then it is under a financial risk. The factors affecting the financial decisions are cash flow position of the company stronger than makes debt financing more viable. So cash flow position of the company, if it is stronger, then it makes more sense to have debt financing more viable. Okay, suppose you have a regular income 1 lakh a month, then you can easily pay 10,000 per month as your interest. But if you have an income of only 15,000 and you had to pay 10,000 as a regular interest payment, then it's going to be a real challenge, it's going to strain you. So that's called as cash flow position of a company. So you need to, if it is strong, then you can go for a debt. Cost, the debt is cheaper as it is tax deductible expenses. So it's a tax deductible expenses because it is a charge against the profit and it will be charged off in the P&L account, and only after charging it off you will arrive at your profits. Only after that you will be calculating your tax amount on your profit. So it's going to be tax deductible expenses. Then the third one is the risk. It's compulsory to pay interest and redeem the principal amount on maturity, a financial risk. Okay, so it's going to be compulsory to actually pay the interest and redeem the principal amount on maturity. Financial risk is high if you are having too much of debt. Okay. The fourth factor affecting financial decision is the level of fixed operating cost. Higher fixed operating cost is lower financial risks, and lower fixed operating cost, higher financial risks. So operating cost is your day-to-day operations cost. So if you have a high operating cost, it's going to be, you should have a little less debt. But if you have a low operating cost, then debt can be higher, so you can actually take higher financial risks. But if you have a high fixed operating cost, then lower financial risk is preferred. So this is what you mean by factors. So first four factors we had discussed, and fixed operating cost is examples of fixed operating cost is the payment of rent towards a factory, insurance premium, salaries, wages, EMI, etc. The fifth factor affecting financial decisions are flotation costs, the cost of raising funds. Issuing equity shares involves cost of advertising, printing, prospectus. Loan from financial institutions not involve such cost. So flotation cost is minimized. See, if you want to get loan from any banks or anything, you don't have to have any too much of flotation cost. But if you want to raise funds through equity, then you need to have all these costs such as cost of advertising, printing, prospectus, etc. The sixth one is the dilution of control in management. See, debt does not cause it. Okay, dilution of management, because it is a borrowed funds. Debenture holders are not the owners of the um, company. Okay, they are just the lenders of the company, so it doesn't dilute the management. The seventh point is state of the capital market. It depends on the state of the capital market also. Financial decisions. So if it is a boom and bullish phase means the capital market is going really good, then more invest in equity because it can provide you higher returns. But if it is a bearish phase, equity issued is difficult as capital market are depressed. In that case, debt can be preferred. So the next one that we are going to look into is dividend decision. The word dividend has arrived from a Latin word called as dividendum, means a thing to be divided. So dividend, share of profits distributed among shareholders. Dividend decision, how much of profits after tax is to be distributed as dividend and how much is to be retained as retained earnings. So that is a major decision under dividend decisions. So factors affecting dividend decisions are: number one, amount of earnings. Dividend paid out of current and past earnings. So how much is your current earnings, how much is your past earnings. So based on that, the dividend decision is to be made. Then stability of earnings. So, stability of earnings. The stable earnings declare higher dividend. Stable earnings declare higher dividend. Unstable earnings, a smaller dividend is to be declared. The third point is the stability of dividend. Some companies follow fixed dividend per share. Some company don't. So some company follow fixed dividend per share and some company don't follow that. So stability of dividend is very important if you want to have a trustable shareholders with you. Okay, then fourth one is the growth opportunities high. If the growth opportunity is high, then payment of dividend is to be less. But if the growth opportunities is stable, then you can pay a higher dividend. The fifth point is the cash flow positions. Check sufficient cash is with the business to pay dividend as it's an outflow of cash. Okay. Then sixth one is the shareholders preference. Declaring dividend, keep the preference of the shareholders in mind. So that's very important. So you cannot ignore the preference of the shareholders. You cannot take your retained earning decision without the consent of the shareholders. Then seventh one is the tax policy. Tax is levied on dividend distribution. 15 percentage of tax is levied. If dividend distribution is more than 10 lakhs, then it will be charged at 10 percentage. So if the dividend distribution is more than 10 lakhs, then 10 percentage dividend distribution tax is levied. If it is less, then it's going to be 15 percentage. The eighth factor is the stock market reactions. Dividend increase view as a good news from market price of the share will increase if there is a dividend declaration announcement goes. So ninth one is the access to the capital market. Large reputed companies can raise funds from capital market. They pay higher dividend compared to the smaller companies. The 10th factor is the legal constraint. Companies Act 2013 place restrictions on payouts of dividends. Example: the rate of dividend declared by the company cannot exceed average of 3 preceding years. Okay, so the rate of dividend declared by the company cannot exceed average of 3 preceding years. So legal constraints is there. Then contractual constraints. While granting loan to a company, banking financial companies may impose certain restrictions on the payment of dividend in future. So contractual constraints are also there. So these are the factors that's going to affect your dividend decisions. So I think that this class is clear. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep revising. Thank you, class.